Grand Haven. I'm Muskegon. So I mean, I worked in Grand Haven with them. That's kind of how we got like acclimated and met and everything. And then you were exploring with another guy first. And was he from Grand Haven or was he?
He lived in Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And how long were you guys exploring together?
You two started since what, 2015?
Yeah, but it's 2015 I think is when we started.
And I came on with him in 2017.
Oh, okay. And then, like, is that when Ruin Road started, or is you came into Ruin Road in 2017?
I came into it. You guys spearheaded your way in, started videos and everything, and then once he introduced me to do it, that's when the other guy had started more with like his family and everything, and then we started getting into some other areas of Michigan and documenting.
Right.
And then after that, that's when we branched out. And we're like, hey, let's just move to this like out of state and hit some spots too. And I mean, you and I pretty much hit most everything as a team, but there's quite a bit that you've even done solo too, on various occasions as well.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
Do you want to? Are we? You recording on yours?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think we're all set.
All right.
Oh, you better record now?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right, we're good now.
Well, that's kind of cool. That kind of covers what I wanted to say first was, like, how did you guys start? You know?
Okay.
What was your major, like, pull to do it? Was it watching other people online go explore, or is just
Pretty
something you've always
much.
done?
Like, I mean, I was interested in it before, like, you know, even back as a kid, you know, interested in like, oh, this spooky old barn or whatever. And then I guess I kind of like grew out of it, you know, as I got older, kind of did other stuff. And then my friend who started with me, he messaged me and was like, hey, check out these videos, you know, from these people doing this. Like, we could do that and do it probably as good, if not better. And so,
Right.
you know, I started watching some of the videos, and, you know, there's some good ones and there's some that are, you know, garbage.
Right.
And so, like, we started researching it, and we're like, all right, yeah, let's do it. So, you know, we came up with Ruin Road and went out there, hit out Parchment Paper was our first one. So we did that, you know, kind of walked into it, and we're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, I actually kind of like this. So we just, you know, kept doing it.
Yeah, that would be a good one to first go explore.
Yeah, that's a
place
big
to
one.
see.
There's a lot to cover there.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And you said you've been doing it since 2015. So over the last 5 years, well, how would you say, like, have you returned to places?
Yeah, we'll revisit stuff, and it's kind of cool. Like, yeah, Parchment we've been to a few times. It's kind of, you know, it's both cool to go see it, and then it's also sad. You know, you see a thing, and it keeps getting worse and worse each time.
Okay, yeah, so it does
Right.
get worse.
Yeah, a lot of places, yeah.
You know,
As a lot of places, you know, as you get them out there to like Instagram and stuff, a lot of people, you know, they end up finding it, you know, somehow.
right.
And so, and you get like a mix of people, you know, you'll get some that are, you know, more into like the exploring, they want to respect it, they want to take, you know, just pictures or, you know, film it. And then, you know, you might draw in another crowd, you know, you get people that want to do more like in the tagging, and, you know, some people just see something cool and they're like, oh, you know, I want to put that in my house or something. So it kind of, you know, takes some of that life out of the building, and then you just get people that want to just, you know, bust the heck out of these places, throw shit everywhere.
Have fires in there and all that.
Yeah,
Camp
yeah.
out overnight.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the biggest disappointment when you're headed somewhere. You're like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome. You headed, and it's just everything's just smashed, complete toilets, everything, sinks. I don't know. In our experience, sinks don't seem to get touched as much as the toilets.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, everyone just goes to those.
I don't get it.
What's like when you guys go explore something? What's like one of your favorite, like, rooms? I guess, like, if you were to go to a school or something, like, what would be one of your favorite places? Like, oh, I got to see this. Like, I got to see the auditorium or whatever.
Yeah.
It's usually those kind of big ticket spots like the auditorium. You know, gyms are really cool, especially when you get those warped boards in the floor and they're like waves, you know, or like they just look like upside down canoes and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd say like
that's
that's kind of our big thing. Like if it's like a church or something, I mean, the sanctuary, you know, everyone wants to try to get like, you know, stained glass, stuff like that, and anything left behind. But some of the classrooms and stuff are cool too. I mean, there's one school that we saw in Gary, and we went into like one of the science labs, and they still had you know, like the hoods and everything in there. Books that were untouched, still packaged and everything.
Ooh.
It was wild.
And like
And
the test tubes and everything still laying around.
yeah, they had some of that. They even had some of like the little like liquid chemicals and solutions and stuff that, you know, kids would play around with. So, I mean, it was neat seeing that, especially for a city where everything's just kind of like torn up by explorers.
So Gary,
you know?
Indiana, then, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
As soon as you said
Yeah.
torn up, that was the first thing that came to my mind was Indiana.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the area, everything too. Just trying to drive down in there too. You're like, I could spend weeks here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
Everything you look at,
Yeah,
it's abandoned
Yep.
out there.
You look out the window of the abandoned building you're in. You're like, well, there's one across the street. We can kind of go see what's up with that one too. You know. But most of the time, like when we go out, we kind of try to have like a direction, like know a little bit of the the history and stuff behind it. That's why I enjoy watching your guys'
Oh, thank you.
films
Yeah,
too,
thanks.
because you put the history in there, so you have that background of the place, and then you see what it's like today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one of the biggest things I like. Is the history behind the places too. So how do you guys? It's just you two, right?
Yes. Well,
So-
for the most part. I mean, we're pretty much like the two solid people. We recently like added another close friend,
Okay.
but he's on like the Detroit side. He's kind of like our east side guy.
Right.
And whenever we go out that way, we always invite him along, and explore with them. And he also kind of has like, eyes and ears on what's on that side
Yeah.
too. So he's like, hey, man, I stumbled upon this really cool church or school. You guys got to come out and see it before it gets locked up. And, we'll go out there and hang out with them and do that. So
So that's kind of like how you guys like find places mostly is like kind of just by ear, but you got people that
Some people, or I'll usually if I know like where we're gonna go to an area, I'll sit down and spend a lot of time like Googling and stuff. I love Google, find a
Yeah.
lot of stuff on that, and then we usually have like a set hit list, and then if we're striking out or whatever, we'll veer off and
definitely
just
have
drive
plan
around.
B and
Yeah.
C and
Yeah.
sometimes D and
Oh yeah.
When you guys are out recording, you usually just hitting one place, or are you like hitting as many as you can, depending on how far you're driving?
We usually hit as many as we can, but then I always I'm like we should try to focus on a few and get some good stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm always you're there, you're like I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to see this. When you're going far, you
yeah.
want to see as much
Yeah.
as you can in the area.
It's different too when you're filming versus like taking pictures. Like
right.
when you're going through filming, you can be going through and almost miss
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
To where when you're taking pictures, you're paying attention to a lot more of the
Yeah.
finer details and stuff. So, Eric does a lot of the photography. He does it all. I don't really take pictures. I take some with my video camera, but, I do most of the filming. So he'll be noticing a lot of different stuff too as we're going through. Like, hey, check this out. I'm like, oh.
No, one of my least favorite things though is when you're filming and then you come back through, you're like, oh, we got everything, and then you like left one thing out.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
how am I going to pretend that I naturally just came upon this? And it's like super interesting.
Yeah, that's going through the schools and stuff. It's what you said earlier too. Like when you were in school, you couldn't go into all those places,
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
and now you can. It's like every door is open.
Yep.
It's so that's one of the things I like about urban exploring too. Is it's all unlocked.
Yeah. And another thing that we do too, like especially if it's a bigger place, like we'll kind of split up a little bit. And then
Okay,
if you're within like an ear's length away, we could just be like, oh, dude, check this out. Like you got to get video on this or get some
Yeah.
shots. Otherwise, like we'll kind of text, play Marco Polo, be like, hey, where are you at? And
Yeah.
then that's where you can kind of meet up and just be like, hey, like this is what I saw over here. This is definitely worth the footage if we want to get it, or get some shots of it. Just do something, and then even with like Instagram and stuff, we try to keep a lot of our pictures and stuff like pretty even. Like it's hard because we definitely shoot on different cameras and stuff and use different software, but for the most part we've been pretty consistent with that. And I don't know, we don't really overlap too much with like shots or anything.
Yeah,
So-
that was a big thing when we first started, filming together. We weren't over top of each other. We're
Right.
both like, filming the same thing, or it's like we're back to back. It's like we both kind of went and did our things, and everything went really smooth. and it was like gel, you know.
Yeah, it's nice to not be walking all over everybody. So shooting
Yeah.
the same thing twice, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
walking right behind each other.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah.
So you split up, you can cover more area, and then you can get more places in, especially when you're traveling to, like, you know, I seen you guys around like Pennsylvania and New York and stuff too. You know, that's, you know, you need to split up sometimes
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
want to catch the whole building
Or
in
you'll
the
get
daylight.
it, or you'll get it where somebody's getting trigger happy with the camera, and then it's like, hey, move, you know, and
Yeah,
trying to get because you don't want like an arm in the shot or something. So
Right.
yeah, we do our fair share of that as well.
About how long were you guys shooting videos and stuff before you started venturing out of state?
Oh.
I want to say actually I did probably like that summer that I first started. I took a trip out of state, like with my family. And I was like, you know, looking just a couple of things. I was like, I got some time, you know. I was like, I want to check some stuff out. So that was like, you know, right when you first start, when you're more ballsy, you know, and you haven't, you know, gotten caught yet or whatever. So,
Right.
you know, I'm just sneaking into places that I'm like, I would never go there now. You know, I was walking around downtown Baltimore by myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
that's-
I just looked back. I'm like, what an idiot.
That's kind of how I felt the first time we went to Detroit. I was like, I don't know, people really do this out here.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, well,
As you
that's
go, yeah.
Gary too. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
whenever you
yeah.
get around those areas, you like, you got three eyes open.
But you know-
in
Yeah.
the back of your head too.
Whenever you go into those like sketchier areas, though, it seems like it's less restrictive. Like you feel more comfortable being inside the building. You're not going to get caught. Nobody's going to care that
That's
you're in there or
true.
anything. So
Yeah,
it's
you
kind
go
of
to
it's
those.
kind of relieving.
You go to those places where it's like right downtown or something, and people are bustling around. You're like, how am I gonna get in here?
Yeah.
You know?
And at times too, like, you know, we've heard horror stories of people getting caught and stuff, and like how they went about it. It's also, I think, how you handle yourself too. I
Mhm.
mean, as long as they don't see like, you know, we're, you know, bringing around like paint or anything like that, you know,
Right.
we're not trying to like cause any mischief. Like, it's really just like documenting and stuff. I think, yeah, it's just how you handle it. You know, just be like really cool with them too, and you know, usually they're understanding. I mean, we've only like really ran into people a couple times. At
Even
most.
just random people.
Random people. We've ran into authorities, and one of the sites was actually state property,
Oh.
but we actually ran into the guy that was cutting the grass that day there, so we were able to kind of like back up our stories, like, hey, like this is what happened. We're out there for a while, you know, just getting like exterior shots.
Right.
And-
Everyone
yeah.
in there, yeah.
Yeah.
Exterior for sure.
And
Yeah.
then you get like all these other kids coming in on a car, and they park right like in the lot of the location, which is stupid too. You know, all eyes are on you, and then you know you're obviously trying to go like right in where you can get in. So when the cops monitor that and see that, then yeah, they know that you're just blatantly trespassing. So
Right.
I don't know. That's how like we try to be smart about it, you know, like survey things, see what it's like. And we've even done it before if like you see security at certain places, like, you know, just talk to them, be like, hey, like, is there a possibility I can go in, do some photos, do some video work, you know? And it's usually a no, but you know, there's been people that are, I mean, even cops have come by and they've been like, you know, I'll wait here for like 5 minutes if you want to go shoot or do something. Like, cool, you know. So that's
Yeah.
kind of nice. It's just, you know, being out there forward instead of just like, you know, hiding with it or something.
Yeah, that's kind of always been my philosophy. Is if you know they show up, I got a camera, I got a tripod. Like I ain't out here trying to damage anything.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying bolt cutters or anything in my backpack or you know anything like that. Like we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of covers one of my questions about, you know, if trespassing is off limits, you know, because some people won't. They just will take the outside. But me, I want to see what's in the inside.
Yeah.
That's why I'm there. Like, I want to see what's left over. Again, I'm not going to damage anything, but, you know, this building's been sitting here decrepit for however long.
Right.
What's in there?
Especially if it's got easy access. I mean, that's pretty much what we push for. I mean, we're not gonna, you know, do any like B&E, so like bolt cutters or anything.
Yeah,
Right.
because as soon as they see that stuff on you, they wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to assume the worst,
Yep.
which I would
and
too.
It's like, well, no, like that door's open right there. You know, I just wanted to peek. And so, and if it looks like it's in rough shape, it's like, you know, you get people in here, you know, thinking around all the time and stuff. And all we're doing is just trying to get some photos and everything.
Appreciating it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So, what kind of gear are you guys using or do you guys bring with you?
So I shoot on a Sony A7S II, and then we have like a DJ Osmo pocket. I have like a
Those are
gimbal
very
and all
nice.
that. Yeah, slider and all that. But most of the time, I don't want to bring that stuff because I'm like, this is too much, too heavy. I don't want to carry all this. So yeah, it's usually camera, the Osmo, which I'll let Jimmy do the Osmo sometimes, like when we need more footage and stuff.
And kind of like you guys, like he focuses more with like the filming. I've been doing more of like the photography. Like, so I'll work more with like our Instagram, where you do more of like our YouTube and Facebook. And for a while, I was shooting with the Canon M50 mirrorless, and that was actually pretty close to you as far as like, you know, the tones of shots and everything. And then I recently got rid of that and went full frame. So I actually like kind of backtracked into doing like a 5D Mark II. But, you know, it's a nice change because I do miss using SLR as well. So, I mean, it's kind of nice to switch between both. But, you know, with some of our late explorers, like sometimes we just get that feeling in your gut. You're like, I don't know if I should be here. So maybe we should do this quick. And so, you know, I upgraded my phone to even take some good shots. I can be like, okay, I'll just do some of those. But, you know, then you feel like you're kind of cheating in a way.
A little bit.
When you said you were using that M50, you're using that for photos or video?
Mostly photos. We did a couple, you know, video things with it, but I think it wasn't a lot where we really took many pieces of it.
I was gonna ask you because the crop factor on the M50 is pretty intense.
Yeah.
You got the 1.6 and then the additional so it's micro 3/4 camera, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, crops them. Okay. And they shoot super wide on it then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very wide.
So, is that how you guys like split up your tasks? And then I guess like when you're done, like you kind of do the video editing, you edit all the pictures, and you know.
Yeah, that's
kind of how you split up that workload.
That's pretty much how we do it, and I'd say you probably do more of like the research as far as like Google and stuff. If you pull up somebody's name that owns something, I'll try to reach out to them, or you've even, you know, just threw my name in there or something. Just say, hey, this is Jimmy with Ruin Road. You know, this is what we do. So
yeah.
So we try to do that. I mean, if we can reach out to somebody, you know, beforehand, you know, we'll do that. Otherwise, yeah, we just send it, just go for it, you know.
What's one of your favorite places that you guys have explored? And let's say like let's say this year so far. It's probably one of your favorites.
Ooh. That's a good question. I gotta think, because this year's been so weird that I gotta think like, what the heck did we think?
Thank you.
Also, do you primarily like to explore places where people aren't talking about?
Yeah, I like to kind of do the ones, you know, when they get like hot, you know, then you're like, all right, you might want to not go there because that's when the eyes get on them. So like, either try to, you know, get them like later, save them for, you know, back once things have cooled down, or try to always do the ones that you haven't seen as much videos on and stuff like that. Always try to focus on that, but once in a while it's nice to just hit one that, you know, is like easy and you're just like, you know, you're good to go and can do that.
I would say that church that we saw in Flint, it's kind of blowing up more recently, but it's got like all these like green crosses and everything. It's an A-frame, so when the light hits it, like you just get all like this crazy like green light, and then sometimes like if you catch it right, you get like these little like prisms in your shots and stuff.
That'd be cool.
And they have like a really tall, narrow stained glass and everything on like the far end. You know, that was just a really cool place to see because not everybody's hitting it. It's still fresh, so a lot of your shots you're not getting, you know, like broken windows, you know, flipped furniture, papers all over the ground. You know, it was just clean.
Those are those treasures that you find, and you're like, okay, this is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I'm gonna spend a lot of my time.
Yeah,
getting all these good quality shots. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Speaking of the workload and stuff, a lot of people don't realize like how much work actually does go into putting out this content.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a hobby, you know. At first, it's a hobby first, for at least for me, you know. But it takes a lot of time to put it all together, and I don't think some people realize that.
Yeah, it's an investment. It's not just something you can just get up and do one day. You have to invest money in it and everything.
As like you were talking about, where you're like, okay, I want to go full frame now on my camera. Okay, that's you know, gets this camera. Let me upgrade my phone, and it's all really because of what you're doing. You know, you wouldn't be thinking about it otherwise,
right?
If you weren't going out to these places and exploring.
And
You
if you
know.
think, branching out of state and stuff too, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to cover like your food, your hotels, everything like that, unless you want to just sleep in a car. But, we tried that for one night and that was not fun.
Tried the car thing?
Yeah,
No.
never.
We're
Yeah.
kind of fans of the car.
I love it, yeah.
Really?
It's my favorite thing.
More
Yup.
power to you, but yeah, I told him I was like, never again.
I mean,
Never
I
again.
go like backpacking and stuff too. So does he, like
Yeah.
camping, and so I got like a little sleeping pad, a little blow up one, and like 14 breaths, blow it up, boom. I'm good for the night like that.
Are you guys like just shoot abandoned places in general, or will you go to like places like caves and stuff like that? Things that aren't just normal, like
Oh,
buildings.
like exclusively urban,
like exclusively urban stuff, or were
Mm.
you like landmarks that have interesting history and?
Yeah, we try to keep it pretty much interesting. Anything that's kind of like, unique or weird or offbeat, like we'll do like the dead malls.
I was just gonna say the dead mall.
Dead malls. I love editing those. That's like why I do them, like just because I love to get a chance to like make it all 80s style and all that. But we do like we've done some stuff, like we started a series called On the Trail of, where there's only one episode out so far because that one took a lot of time to edit, but we did like the Zodiac Killer. Like we went back and visited all his spots and kind
That's
of
cool.
tried to tell some history behind that. Or we did like a series called Ghosts and Legends, where we focus more on like urban legend places and stuff like that. It's more like that. We'll see, like if we see something cool on the way, we're like, oh, you want to check out that cave or whatever. Like we did that down in Louisville or whatever. We were checking some stuff out.
Well, and then, the asylum up in Traverse City, they've pretty much revamped most of that. So, your main Kirkbride building there is now shops and restaurants and stuff. We did get to help feature like a photography tour and, what's left of that's abandoned and everything. But they still have a lot of aesthetics, just all around the grounds too, even of like the functional buildings that you can still capture some great shots and video of. So I mean, I'd say mostly just abandonments, but we try to catch some of those gems too, because they're still in great shape. They have some phenomenal history as well. And we also, like during COVID, we hit the Froenthal Theater, where my friend works in Muskegon.
You went inside that? Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got like a mini tour of that, and
That's cool.
got to do like some camera footage and stuff in there because no one else is in there. He was
Yeah.
able to adjust all the lighting and stuff. So it was fun to be able to do that and get a break from just sitting at home.
And people can see that on your YouTube or no?
It wasn't put into video.
No, that one.
But we did do a lot of like photos, and then he gave us a lot of like the history on the place and just some like neat little facts, and we got to tour it. And I mean, even some like the old equipment they've had was some of the original stuff from like the early 1900s. So it was really really interesting
That is cool.
getting to see that, and then getting to tour like the big rotunda on top and everything. Like being up there was phenomenal.
Speaking of like just touring a place, I want to go check out that. What is it? It's something all about death. And he's got
museum?
like that museum that guy opened up like in his house. You guys heard about that?
I've been to one over, not in Detroit, but over by there.
By
But
there.
It wasn't in a house, but it was just in like a storefront.
When
but it
was
a
that? A
I
while
want
ago.
to say sometime around the winter time.
This past winter.
Yeah, I think it's called the Museum of Death.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I thought it was like out of a house. It was a small building, right?
Yeah. Very small. Yeah.
Very small. Yeah.
Is it like some Captain Spaulding House of a Thousand Corpses thing or something?
Well, you've been
That's what I'm
there.
imagining.
Yeah, it's no, it's like just a lot of like curio things. Like there's like old embalming equipment. Like shrunken heads.
Yeah.
Just kind of like morbid stuff like that. And like he has a little store section, and then you pay to go into the back room, and then there's like another side where it's like Wiccan stuff and all that. It was interesting to see. It was like $3 to get in or something. So I was
Yeah.
like, why not check it out? I had
Exactly.
family that wanted to go, so I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything questionable while you're out shooting that you may want to tell somebody or call the police or anything like that? Anything
Ooh,
weird?
Yeah.
Nothing worth calling the police over. I mean, we always worry about seeing something, but we've never seen anything like that. Yeah.
Really?
Scrappers, fiends, anything
We've
a little uncomfortable.
Fiends.
We've been in a place where I know we've been to like Cadillac stamping in Detroit where there were definitely scrappers there. Like we walked in on one side, you could like smell a fire and like you could hear, they're clinking and stuff. You're like, that's
really?
somebody doing something. So like we were like, we're gonna stay on this side, totally avoid it.
Yeah, they had a truck in there and everything too, so they're just piling all this stuff in their
Yeah.
truck.
Pull the truck up. And we're worried about parking like
Right,
half mile
exactly.
down the road, and they
Some
got trucks in
people,
there.
and yeah, some people just go for it.
And occasionally, like you'll walk in somewhere, somebody's living in a building too. And we did Cleveland. Was it this last winter, or was it
yeah,
a little
it was
before
last
that?
winter.
We went into one of these factories, and then we were in this one area, and we just hear this guy. He's like shouting like, "Who's that?" And we were looking around like, "What?" It's blizzarding out and stuff too. So it's like, God, But we were looking around. We're just like, hey, we're just out here, just capturing some like pictures and video. And he's like, "Of me?" And we're like, No. So like, ended up finding out he was like behind some corner. There's like some hole in the wall, and he's just like peeking, like watching for us and stuff. So, it's really just stuff like that we run
Right.
into. I don't like finding like live animals in places, especially if it's like birds. I hate like birds.
Especially birds when they get into buildings and they
Yeah.
get shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you are bound to get shit on
Yeah.
when birds be flying around.
Yeah, we had a really bad run-in with a raccoon.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not what you think, though. It was kind of humiliating.
Yeah. We thought it was something else, and then we found out it was a raccoon. We were like, oh, okay. Well, maybe we should go back in now.
Yeah, it's completely scary. We heard glass creaking and it scared us. And we were like,
Right.
I don't know what that is. It's pitch
But-
black. Look
Better
back
safe
up.
than sorry.
Dude, it was a raccoon.
Yeah.
It was just a raccoon chilling in the
Yeah.
window up there.
But yeah, animals would probably be more. I think I'd be more worried about running into a wild animal than a person
Yeah.
almost.
So you could reason with a person to some extent.
Right.
Right.
But those are things too. Like you'd be walking into a building, and sometimes that's the last thing on my mind. And then he'll bring it up, like, "Well, what if you see something?" I'm like, "Dude, I wasn't even thinking about running into somebody."
Better
while
safe than
we're
sorry.
here."
Yep.
Like I don't know, do what you guys did. I'm just, hey, I'm not recording you. I mean, you see it. I mean, I'm sure you guys watch like The Proper People and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've had it too, where they run into people and. There was one I remember where he's going up the staircase and he's just moaning like, "Oh
yeah."
And then they're like, go down the other staircase. It's freaky, but again, it's somebody else. If that was a dog, dude,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
a wild, it's just they're gonna pounce you.
Yeah, and speaking of, being protected and safe things, you guys bring, like, things for protection or anything like that, or?
The only thing that we usually bring is just like pepper spray.
Okay.
Because and I know there's a lot of people that are, oh, bring a gun if you can bring it if you have your personal protection. But then I hear other people, and I hear like if you are if you're trespassing and you have a weapon on you, it's like way more, and then the
Yeah.
cops are on edge.
Yeah.
So it's just
I
like
can see that.
I'm like,
Plus, if you're not, maybe you own a gun, but you're not like that proficient. It could get used against
Right.
you.
Yeah.
it's,
So easily that gun could get taken away from you,
Yeah.
and then you are the one.
like
on the
I
other
don't
end.
want to go to a place where I need a gun to get in there. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
that ballsy. So
Well, some people, we've been to Gary too, and we went to a school there, and I'm not that worried about it, but some people are like deathly afraid
yeah. Oh yeah.
to go down
There's-
somewhere like that.
Yeah, once you get pretty deep into a building, like in the basement, and it's really dark and you need the flashlight, that's when I'm not worried about anything at that point.
Right.
There ain't going to be nobody down there.
Exactly. Yeah. Or
So-
you're gonna hear them if they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, everything echoes, so.
Right.
What?
Have you guys ever been in a building? Do you guys do like anything like at night?
Not so much. Usually, like if we're in the city or whatever, when the sun goes down, we're usually out of there because that's when things usually more people are out that are doing things that aren't as good. So like we'll hit things usually in the morning and afternoon, and then by like dinner time, usually we try to finish it up. But like we've done once in a while, we'll do some nice stuff.
It's
but-
mostly for like if we do something like Ghosts and Legends and stuff. Like we stopped at areas like Mouth Cemetery and we're like, just hit it and see what the fuss is about there.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Then
Anything happened there? No.
well, so we split up and
I've had something happen there.
yeah,
Me too, actually, yeah.
I
Okay.
I did, or at least I think I did. So you were on one side of the cemetery, and I was on another. I had this little night vision camera that he let me use. So I was, doing a little exploring, and I was looking at some of these headstones. They're like really small, dated, and I was trying to zoom in on one, and I heard some rustling next to me, and I was like, "Hey Kyle, check this." And I looked next to me. I didn't see him there, and I saw this tree still rustling. It wasn't windy or anything. I didn't touch it. I didn't see any animals scurrying under it.
Really?
And so, it's just like where you turn white, and then I, screamed your name and just started booking it towards the other side of this.
Yeah. No, that's creepy. That's a little more creepy than what happened to me. I was out there with my buddy Rich, and we heard the same thing. It's a creepy cemetery. And it was really weird when you get back there because you got to drive basically through private property almost. And then there's just this random street light out there with the little signs. Like, it's just perfect. You're like, oh, man, this is creepy. And we were out there, and I brought the little EVP thing, and we're asking questions. And we're like, hey, if there's anybody out here, give us a sign. Throw something, touch one of us. And then we heard, like, a rock get thrown. And I was like, oh, maybe it just fell from, like, a tree or something. It said, can you do that again? And then 5 seconds later, and I was like, oh! And we ran back to the light real quick. I was like, holy crap, dude, that worked? And was that real or what? Let's come back. I reviewed the, I didn't get anything on an EVP, but I mean, I got what's, you hear the two sounds afterwards, but,
And it's like with some of those things too, you don't know if there's people out messing with you. Like in that case, that's different. But we were out doing one for Dudgeon Swamp. Remember that first night we went, and we were scoping out, trying to find the house and stuff, looking for any remnants. And we were walking down it was pitch black out. It was this long dirt road and everything. As we made it back to our car, we noticed that there was a salt circle. So I mean, we think it was probably just people messing with us because we didn't spot it there when we first got out, and then we were just like, dude. And then I did the taste test, and it was salt. So I was like,
the taste test. I made him do it.
How'd you talk him into that one?
I said test if it's salt because I don't think it is.
Well, at least it wasn't arsenic or something. So
yeah,
still here.
Shit. Yeah, you're still here. So that's good. Yeah. So is that something that would you consider yourselves skeptics over all of that, or believers of it?
I'd say, at least for me, I'm more skeptic. I mean, I think most of that stuff is probably, fake, or you psych yourself out. But, I mean, once in a while, something I think is legit. So, I'm really hoping to have it done before Halloween so we took all our 6 old episodes of Ghosts and Legends, and, I re-edited them, kind of bolstered them up, and they're all going to be about between, 22 and 28 minutes. We're putting them on Prime for a little kind of Ghosts and Legends show on there. So fingers crossed it'll be done. I've been saying it for years that I'm going to do it, and I'm almost there. I'm 1 episode away. So hoping to have those
one
finished.
more episode
to just finish editing, re-editing and stuff. So.
And you already got it cleared for Prime?
Yep. So it's going to be up
cool.
there.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, there's the mouth incident and some other stuff in Dudgeon Swamp, and some things I think are questionable that I think might be something legit that I put up there, and I didn't make it a big deal or everything. We're not Zach Baggins.
Yeah, right.
So
right,
but we put it up there, and it's kind of just the Rune Road stuff. Try to tell the history behind these places and all that, and if we have a little spooky fun on the side, so much the better.
That's cool, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
How often are you guys going out and shooting?
Not that much, especially this year. It used to be about I'd say maybe once a month we'd get out, for a weekend or whatever.
You'd shoot multiple places while
you're
out.
Usually make a weekend trip. This year it's been a lot more spotty.
Maybe once a month, but it's usually quick little trips, or we'll plan ahead, and intense. It's every other month we'll travel out of state and do something for a few days. Yeah.
After so long, I mean, there's only so many places that you can
go
to in Michigan.
Most around here we've hit.
And a lot of it too, when you, especially what we found traveling, is it's kind of a shot in the dark. You see some of these places on video, you'll see pictures, and then you get out there, you survey the thing, and you want to get in, and it's boarded. Some of those are fresh, some of them might have been for a while, and so you really don't know. And that's kind of why I like to like get on like either Instagram or something and like try to network with some folks. Like, hey, like we'll be out. Would you guys want to explore with us? You know, we'll make it worth your while. Get you like food or a beer or something. And
Right.
sometimes they're like that. Sometimes people are flaky. Part of it's because you don't really like know them. Aside from that, too, I think.
Right.
But I mean, usually like you can have people as like eyes and ears to help you pick like, you know, if you want to do some of the bigger ticket spots and really get some like really good footage and everything too. Like with New York and Pennsylvania on our last run, we hit like a decent amount of stuff, but probably not nearly as much as we would have liked to, like on our original list and everything.
Is that where the is that the mausoleum or something?
Yep, that's up in New York. Yeah, that was.
I mean, that was real bones? You think?
I think it was, but I don't think it was a person bone.
No.
I think it was some animal that died there, and then over the years, everyone sees it. Ooh, it's
Right.
a bone in a mausoleum.
Yeah.
So
When you're doing a big trip like New York, how do you go about planning like locations? What if they don't pan out? Like how many backups do you have?
yeah, so I like have it all on our map, and then I'll choose pick and choose like the top ones that I want. That I'm like, we gotta go to this, and then from that I'll kind of add stuff along the way, and I'll usually add like 5-10 more than I know we possibly could hit, and then like for that New York trip, a lot of stuff was like sealed, so like we ended up getting through that entire list, and we were just like, oh, let's look, see a few more things on the way, drive to some back roads. Worst comes to worst, we just hit a brewery or whatever, hang out.
Yeah.
Still having fun, seeing places you're not going to see.
Do you ever
Right.
just pull over on the side of the road, you see something really interesting, check it out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
lots of barns and old buildings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I see a lot of that. But
Yeah.
New York sounds like it would have a lot of stuff there, though.
Oh, New
abandoned.
York's awesome. I can't wait to get back out there.
I've never been there before.
Basically, like the UP.
Yeah.
You go to the UP.
There's
You're
a
basically
lot,
just
yeah.
driving. Oh, that's abandoned. You could just do that the whole trip up there.
Yeah.
Because we were just up there recently. I'm like, wow, that's abandoned. That's abandoned. And then there's a whole base up there too. That's
Yeah, I think
naval base.
there's like two of them. One I think is just nothing's really there, but there's at least one or two that are up there. That
Yeah, there's
definitely
one
I
that
might
has like a bunch of houses and stuff to it. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was for like training exercises or something, but
yeah. I'm not sure of the backstory on it, but I'd seen somebody that was just up there too. They're like driving through, like everything's abandoned. I'm like, man, that's a lot. You could do a whole
Mhm.
day there for
Yep.
sure. Just going out and about and exploring. But yeah, so you got that coming out on Prime. Did you guys have like a book out too or something that I see?
Yeah, we have a series out that started coming out last year, and then early this year is the last of the 5 or 6 books we did out. Some just on like Michigan, so it's really similar to our videos, where we kind of we broke it up in like schools, churches, houses, health and government buildings, each chapter. And kind of tried to tell a little bit of the history before the place, and then each building gets its own history. So like we did 2 on Michigan, like all over the state, 1 on Detroit, 1 on Flint, and 1 on Cleveland. So kind of broke it up, told some history. It was kind of fun just to do some places that might not be worth doing a video, but are still really interesting history wise and get some good photos. So kind of tell some places behind that.
So is there like a lot of those kinds of books out there
Oh yeah,
that are like
Yeah.
unabandoned and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Is yours kind of like more is yours? I don't know how I'm trying to word this. Fit more of a niche, I guess, maybe because you break it up with like schools and.
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's a ton, so I've leafed through a few of them, but I think ours are more interesting. I think because we tell a lot of the history. Like some of them, I've seen are like one location. 80. Who wants to see 80 photos of one building? How many of those
Right.
are going to be good? So,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, and a big long story over one building.
right.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about that. No, I forgot.
The nice thing is it kind of just takes like what you'd see in our videos and puts it in that form of a book. So like really you're just getting like those big, the still shots of it, and then diving into the history behind it, maybe what's happening presently. If we know of any plans, of the building, what they're gonna do. I mean, sometimes we try to add that in. I don't know if that's really much like our books, but I think that's probably in a couple of the videos at least where, you know, we do try to research that and see like, hey, is there a foreseeable future for at least like, you know, preserving what the building looks like? Are they going to do something with it, or is it just going to come down and become like a Dollar General or something?
Right.
Too?
Yeah, because those are everywhere. Everywhere you go is a damn
Yeah.
Dollar General.
I hate when you do all the research and everything pans out, seems great, and then you get to that location, you drive 2 or 3 hours away,
Yep.
and it's all boarded up, or
Yeah.
it's like renovated and it wasn't updated online nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but back to like the book thing though too, was that's why I was meant by like a niche, because like even like this like podcasting, like I've looked, I couldn't find anything on urban exploring. Like I know the videos, you know, are the best, but I sometimes just like hearing from the people and
Right.
the stories and like, you know, how you guys go about things. I think that's really cool to hear, you know, because I don't know if you guys are a part of like any like abandoned groups and stuff on Facebook. I'm sure maybe just, you know, another idea source for places, but yeah, you don't really like, you get the pictures and that's about it. And it's just nice to know like how you guys go about things, how you operate, and,
Right.
you know, how other people do things. It's, you know, I think it's worthwhile. But speaking of that page too, I wanted to jump back to Flint because that Swanson's got real popular all of a sudden again. But you guys had been there like a year or
Yeah, we went
2
there
years or a year ago.
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah, that was one that I just found, I think, on the news or whatever, and I was like, we gotta go, because
Yeah.
I was like, you know, this one's gonna go downhill. And I mean, yeah, even when we were there, people were already scrapping it, and people had been inside. And I heard that one, it's now demolished. I heard.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what
'Cause
a
that was
couple people
rec-
were telling us.
Because that was recent that
Yeah,
people were in there again
Yeah.
saying that they found all the bags of, you know, ashes and stuff still
Mhm.
there.
And new trespassing signs and everything.
Yeah.
They boarded it up and
yeah,
whatnot.
like a couple of people from Flint were telling us recently that they just tore it down.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine because it
It's just
started gaining steam and like
so
it was getting
much,
shared
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
About all that remains, and I mean it's truly sad, really, to have all that stuff still sitting there.
Mhm.
Well, that's the bad thing about Facebook groups is that, you know, you attract the wrong attention, you could potentially destroy a location. So I think that's kind of what
Yeah.
happened with that one. Is as soon as everyone seen there was stuff in there, they all wanted to go check
Right.
it out. So
And yeah, and we try, like, especially nowadays, like we try to stay away from like a lot of like location sharing, just so that way you don't get something blown up so fast.
Right.
Like that's another thing is like I'm a part of one of the groups on Facebook, you know, abandoned buildings in Michigan, and a lot of people are like, "Where's the location on this?" Like, you know,
Yeah.
all that, and like they're not even people that explore. It's like,
It's
well,
the
what
first thing
use
they
is
ask.
it?
Where is
Mhm.
this at?
yeah.
Not man,
Yeah.
that looks really nice. That's cool. It's where's this at?
Yep.
And it's like they don't want to do their homework and try to figure it out. Like, okay, abandoned funeral home in Michigan or something like that.
That's how
you know?
easy it is a
It's-
lot of the time.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Just put the city in, then what it is, and it pops right up.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing too is you get a lot of like the big wig explorers, and when they hit a spot and like, you know, people see that, it blows up, and then other people are finding it too. So I mean, in a way, we try to keep it on the radar, but you know, at times, like, you know, you tell the history and stuff, and you know, share the images, people are gonna find it. They're gonna always ask. They're gonna bug you.
So you guys been to Cooley High School? When did you guys go there?
So that's like I keep a lot of videos, like I sit on a lot of videos for that reason, where I'm like, I want to save this, you know, like I've got videos like Cooley. I actually went before he even joined Rune Road, and I just was sitting on that one because I always wanted to get like a little more footage, kind of do some like interviews and stuff. So that one we did finalize that. I finally was like, all right, you got to see Coley, and so we took him there this year. But like, yeah, I've got videos that I've been sitting on for like years, where I'm just like, either for legal reasons or just because I'm like, this is a pristine area. I want to keep it for, you know, a
Right.
while till it either gets redeveloped or, you know, torn down.
So when's the last time you went back there?
We went there this summer was when I
Yeah.
finally took him.
Me and my wife actually went there.
Yeah,
last summer.
the
and
summer. Me
he
too.
went
It was
there
my first
too.
time ever going there. Yeah,
Cooley's
and
amazing.
it was an experience.
Yeah.
So.
And proper people have been there too, right?
Yeah, that was how I first found
So
out.
I was
about it.
wondering if you guys were there before proper people.
I
And
believe
what-
so.
And
'Cause
what it looked like then compared to when you went now. this
So
past
I went, the first time I went was a month after the fire. So
Oh.
I took everything out.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get there before the fire, but I was there like a month after. So it was still, you know, crispy. A lot was
Mhm.
torn down. And then it was so bad then that it's not too different now, but you can still see that things have been going downhill. But
A lot more traffic.
Yeah.
They got all the plastic up now on all the windows, that plexiglass or whatever, too.
yeah, it was. I mean, it was boarded when I was there, but it was less secure.
That was one of those locations that when we got there, we found it. We parked right in the parking lot, and I felt perfectly fine walking in there.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't worried about the area or nothing, because they're not going to be worried about somebody out here exploring abandoned building, taking pictures and stuff. So
People go and dump there now.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Me and my wife were sitting there because we parked just right along the street that drives into the parking lot. I swear to God, we were a deterrent because they would come up, they'd see us, and then there's literally like this old couple, and he had gloves on and everything, right? And he just drives around the parking lot, and goes back out like we're gonna report them for dumping or something. Like we saved some dumping that day.
Yeah. When I went there, I had a friend of mine was sitting in the car waiting for us, and apparently a cop came up to her and was like, "Hey, I know where you're from. What are you doing out here?" She's like, "Oh, my friends are inside. They're shooting like some pictures and stuff." And he's like, "You shouldn't be out here. A woman got her throat cut out here," and saying all this horrible stuff to her. Yeah, just horrible, trying to scare her out of there and be like, "I'm not going to tell you to get out of here, but you definitely shouldn't be here. It's going to get bad in a couple hours," because it was almost evening. So, but yeah, he had no problem with us being there. But he definitely wanted to scare her for some reason. She called me crying and screaming. I'm on the roof and I see cops down there. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay right here and never move until I know
the roof
they're
was
gone.
real cool on that place. I was glad I got up to the roof. My wife didn't want to. I was like, well, you can wait right here by these stairs. I'm gonna go up there.
Architecture's really nice up on the rooftop.
It was really
It's cool to be up there.
There was actually, we still parked down on the side streets because right when we were turning on the road where Cooley is, there was a police cruiser and another car that got into an accident. This police cruiser was smoked. And so you had 3 or 4 police cars out there and everything, and we were just like, well, maybe if we just go around this side, we'll be okay.
Right.
And so, we did that, and I think it would have been fine, but yeah, I was just seeing that, I'm like, are more gonna pull up? What's gonna happen with this incident? So, but yeah, it was pretty easy to really do. And then you talked about how trashed it got and everything. I think we just saw a bunch of stuff back there. It looked like what Goodwill gives rid of, and you saw a dead
one
kitty
section
and
that was just full of chemical barrels and stuff.
Yeah.
and
Is that
paint thinner.
the basement, right?
it's kind of by the pool, I thought.
Yeah, I think it's by the
Because I
pool.
haven't seen the pool
No.
yet. We
Yeah.
still got to go back there. I haven't seen the whole place yet.
Yeah, there's a part. It's just got these big blue barrels and paint thinner and paint, and they just left it all there. I don't know if it was from the school or if it was from people dumping, but it definitely had a stench because I was like, ooh, I'm glad I have my mask on.
Yep.
That's another thing too. Is people should definitely bring a mask. I mean, I know in this climate nobody wants to wear the thing. But if you're gonna be, in a school like that, asbestos and all that stuff, wear a mask. Seriously, it's gonna save you in the long run. I mean, I don't want to wear it either, but it just helps. Especially with your audio too, is gonna suck for that recording because it's all muffled. But it's worth it.
You guys use masks then too?
We
or?
do. We don't use them as much as sometimes I feel like we should. Because there's sometimes where I'm just in there, or we won't bring them, and I'm like, well, we should have brought the mask, but we're already in here. I'm like, oh. But I try if I know a place is gonna be grimy, if I'm going into a Detroit school, I'm like, I'm gonna want a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's parts in parchment we didn't wear on, but then there was parts, you start looking around, you see the signs, there's asbestos and everything. Ooh, maybe we should have had it. But it was so airy and
if it's a more enclosed place, that's when you're really gonna want it. But
I've done some questionable things though when we didn't have masks, fly my drone inside of a hallway, and and it definitely probably should have that on.
Yeah, that's where I said, because it was inside parchment. And then I looked at all the dust. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, that really, really dark corridor, and it, leads to some opening, and it's, really high up.
It's like the whole building,
I know
bro.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Over in the very
Yeah.
farther end, yeah.
yeah, I flew my drone like full
Through
speed
that.
down there in pitch black and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty. It was
Oh,
terrifying.
you mean by the pool? We called
Yeah.
it the pool.
I
It
know
looks
what
like
you're
a
talking
pool.
about, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what
I don't know
just
what
don't
that
think it's a
area
pool.
is.
It's
but
not.
yeah, it's a
but-
weird.
It's totally not a pool, but that's what it reminded me of, especially when you get up top. It's like, man, this could be a
Yep.
pool.
Yeah, I flew my drone down there, and there was like a wire hanging out of nowhere. My drone starts flying around. I'm like, oh crap!
Dude, it
Yeah,
kicked
not
that,
a good idea.
It kicked that wire's ass though. Didn't
Yeah, it chopped it in half. So
Yeah, that's cool. And just the stuff that you don't get on film too when you're out recording is like some of the best stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, just the fun that you're having too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
or
of times,
bloopers.
yeah, or bloopers, or just a lot of times it almost looks like it's too serious, and it's like gotta lighten it up.
Yeah, you gotta have a little fun with it.
We were exploring Cleveland and we met some friends down. Well, they came from Canada, and we hit this one funeral home that you wanted to do, and it was really cool, but it was nasty. And I think it's gone now. That was House of Wills
House
2.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah.
The second location.
And they still had like caskets and stuff in there. Like somebody took one of them down the stairs and everything. And we get out there, you're still left behind. They went across the street to this like nasty mini mart and bought Corona. And then one of the girls, she carried a crowbar with her. And so before you came out, I was like, oh, I got an idea. Like, I'm like, I had a bottle opener on my keys. I was like, I'll just pop these open real quick. But when Kyle comes out, let's tell him like, we had to pop it with that crowbar. So I took a video of you trying to like pop this thing and just, wrestling with it. And you didn't get it. I was like, hey, let me just show you the secret. You're like, okay. So like held the crowbar right here and the beer right here. I just pulled out my keys and boop.
Yeah, you're like, damn it. God damn it.
Well, listen, stuff like that's nice though, because it kind of personalizes, keeps everything grounded.
More
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah. Oh. Always good to get that side of people in there that joking around. Everything's not always so serious.
Right.
We're out here having a good time. We're filming and doing our job, but
Yeah.
So-
Oh yeah, and especially when you meet people too. I mean, you don't know, how that's, gonna pan out too, and building up that chemistry. But it's like, hey, if you can just have fun with it, know that you're there, you can joke around and all that stuff too. It just builds a whole different dynamic.
Right.
So yeah, that was one of the times where we were just like, okay, we hit it off really well with them, and they want to do this again.
did you ever have a bad experience with somebody? Like maybe just they were too loud and they were like yelling and
That happened with us in Lansing with that group of kids that hoisted us
yeah.
up.
Some kids were
Hoisted you
trying to.
up.
They were at the school for the blind. We were walking around, and they were walking around. You knew, and they were just young kids. You knew what they were gonna do, and like we were like, "There's one way in," and so they were there, and we were there. So we were like, "Well, we want to go in," and they're like, "Well, we want to go in." So. Like, all right, we'll take them in. And yeah, they were just, typical like young high school kids. So they're walking
Yeah.
around, shouting, not really smart. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't be shouting that you're in an abandoned building.
Right.
So we tried to,
Yeah.
we like broke off from them, and then they got bored real quick, so they left. So it was that. But usually, people that we explore with, we usually like check them out. Like we'll get like a lot of Facebook messages of just random people. Could I go with you? And I'm like, if you
Yeah,
don't
no.
explore and like. If you just because we've had some people who are like one person on YouTube who is big, tried to meet up with us, and they backed out and basically just took a bunch of locations from us, didn't give anything back. So yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, that's
once in a
shitty
while it
experience.
happens with somebody you think is legit, but usually if if you see somebody who does explore and stuff like that, you're
Yeah.
at least
Serious
figuring
about it, yeah.
figuring they're gonna
Yeah.
not be an idiot.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
not like Bill asking you to take him on a virtual explore or something. I don't know if you guys know about that
They,
guy.
by their looks, they
What's
don't
that?
know.
No,
This
no.
is Jimmy's boyfriend.
His name's Bill Finan, so he's kind of known like throughout the Urbex community as somebody that, he's always complaining like, oh, like you get to explore, I never do. I always go to these places and I end up waiting at bus stops getting like, people that, ditch me, and so I just watch exploring videos at this bus stop after I spent like $600 on a plane ticket. I was gonna offer them my camera to explore with me, and now I'm just living the life I wish I knew better than to dream of anymore.
he's had that planned out.
Depressing.
Yeah, that's Jimmy's boyfriend.
No, but this he kind of trolls people, like goes on their thing. He's like, oh, the lives of successful people. Like whenever you just share like your Urbex shots
Yeah.
and stuff, and then he'll always sad face your stuff or put an angry face.
I always thought it'd be funny to film a parody of like Urbex in an operating building.
Oh yeah.
Like, just go into a cubicle and just be walking around like, dude, check it out.
Oh yeah.
This motherfucker's still working. He's still typing away.
He hasn't had a paycheck in 3 years.
No, man, he's still going strong, dude.
That's some history right here.
Let's check out the bathrooms, man. I bet you they're tore up.
Bet the sink's still there though.
I'd love to do that. It'd be hilarious. Now somebody's gonna take it. Watch.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Nobody's probably watching this anyway.
You guys ever thought about doing something like that, other than just the urban exploring? Since you're doing the YouTube thing, you thought about branching out and doing like a different type of series?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it's just
You got
like
the paranormal one.
Yeah, we've done the paranormal. We got the serial killer one. I started like
Oh, the serial killer one. Huh?
yeah, that was we did the Zodiac, and we've got like one or two that are filmed, but just because those take a long time to edit, so just that's been on the back burner. But yeah, I always like get ideas for some series, and then I'm like, no, you already edit too much. I don't want to start it or whatever. But yeah, like I started originally I started doing films. Like I went to school for media production, movies. Okay. So I was doing that, and then this kind of happened, and I was like, okay, I like this, and I was doing this. But
it's a good way to show off, like, or practice more.
Right.
Like what you're doing,
But yeah, I've always considered like doing another movie, because you got all these great locations that people don't know about. So you're like, if you make a movie here, and
like a short film or something.
Right. Like, and I'm always a sucker. I'll watch like some crappy horror movie that's like takes place in an abandoned building. I'm like, well, I want to see it, and it's always like some building that you're like that's not an abandoned building, or like this is just some lame factory or whatever. So I'm always like, I want to see one that takes place in some cool abandoned place, or like something I know, and then
right. That's one of my goals too. Is I'd like to make like a short film or something like that too. Mm-hmm. So you never know. Maybe we can work together.
Yeah.
Because I definitely like having more heads are better than one.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. Always looking to expand what we're working on. So.
Or to just do a short series on like what not to do, like in the Urbex community.
Like how to Urbex for dummies.
Yeah. And just like a short series just based on like a topic, like asking locations or yelling in places or shitting in a corner or something like that,
Ooh.
And
or wearing boots, don't wear sneakers.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the other thing.
No, I was talking about your sneaker when you jumped off that it was a truck well, and then a nail went boop.
Oh, jumped right on top of a nail. I didn't look at it for like 3 days. I was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and when you're in a darker building, it's still light. You don't need a flashlight, but keep your eyes on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a gap in the floor about this big, and if I would have been just a little bit too short, I would have fell right down that hole.
It was like when it was elevated, like floors too. It was like 20 feet. It wasn't like a 10-foot ceiling.
Down to a
like
basement.
20 foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, whoa.
That was
exactly.
What was it? The hospital in Detroit.
Yeah,
Southwest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys been to that one?
I have. Yeah.
When you went there, was it all gutted out?
Yes.
Yeah. Ours was too. It was unfortunate.
So that's one of those situations then when you walk into that, you're like, okay, I'm going to cut this with another episode. You're not going to combine it. It's not going to be its own because it's too boring to be its own. There is some cool things about it, but not enough cool things. It'd be like a 5-minute episode or something. And, to even get monetized on YouTube, eventually it has to be longer than that. It has to be like 10 minutes or something.
At least I believe.
Oh, I think it's any blank.
Is it? I mean, I haven't done a
or maybe it's for advertisements or something. Monetization.
I don't know. I haven't done a crap ton of research on it, but I don't want to put out a 5-minute. That's my personal thing. It's got to be like we said, like 10 minutes or more, But
yeah, especially if you're there filming for like 4 hours, it's like, man, I really filmed 4 hours to get 5 minutes.
But in those buildings too, when you do come across them and it's just openly gutted, you're gonna film while you're there, so you could get a lot of just unusable footage or footage you gotta like just speed up, double, 4 times the speed just to get through it.
That's going back to like those Facebook groups, because you see people on there posting pictures and they're gonna post like the best pictures they took there. And then you get there, and there's really nothing else besides like maybe 4 spots.
Yeah,
misleading. The pictures were interesting at all.
Yeah,
it's so hit and miss.
It's the risk that you take when you're headed out.
Yeah, and
you
then
know that ahead of time.
And you get a lot of people, I think, that like to like nitpick too and stuff on videos. Like we'll see like a lot of people that you know, they do videos and stuff, and then they like, you know, take snapshots of like what people comment, like, oh, like you went through too fast or something, and then they just like bite back at them. It's like, in a way, we kind of enjoy that. I mean, not only does it help us better ourselves, but it's just funny seeing like, all right, you can't please everybody, but you know, you're gonna piss some people off, or you get people like maybe you'll post a really cool shot you edited, and then they post like 20 of their shots to like the same place just down in the thread, and you're just like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you could do your own if you want to, but.
And, you know, too, a lot of people don't realize, and I struggle with too, just because you're going to, is when, especially when you first start out anything, whether it be urban exploring, whether it be a band, you know, I've played in bands, you know, right out at the get-go, you just got to keep going, because people aren't going to watch your crap right away.
Right.
Once you finally get, you know, maybe that one stellar place that you go to, or that one video, or that one song, you know, and then it really starts catching fire. And then they go back and watch your other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when you start getting the views on that. Oh, like this podcast here, you know, like I said, I don't know. I mean, we had one, I think like 20 people downloaded the first one, which ain't bad. It was like 20 people. So
Yeah, that actually surprised me, honestly.
me too, for as far as it being downloaded. But, you know, people will come back and listen to this and watch the videos that you made before. I'm sure it was probably like that with you guys right off the
Oh
bat,
yeah,
too.
I mean, there's still videos that can't even break 1,000 views, and I'm like, hey,
You're
this
like,
place is cool. Why ain't
yeah.
anybody watching it? You know?
Right. Yeah, just you can't explain it.
Right. You never know.
A lot of it's really like just kind of like those random finds that get more of the views. Like when we found that one house that, you know, still had everything left over from like, you know, 70s, 80s.
Is that the Frozen in Time?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like things like that where I think it gets people ask a lot of questions too on what's there. So that's why you're getting a lot more views. And even with the antique store that you stumbled upon, I mean, that one really blew up because there's so much stuff to see. You know, and that's the other thing too is, you know, some people, they'll go through, maybe they'll do like Packard Plan or something. And it's a cool spot. You know, you get cool pieces of graffiti and stuff in there. But like you get so many people like jumping on that and doing it. And
It's just watered down.
Yeah, everybody knows about it at one point or another.
A lot of it too is just the
Yeah, I think I just turned off.
that one turned off. That's all right.
I hope I'm not overheated again.
That's okay. We have issues too. It's all right. We still have audio. Yeah.
I don't know. Got 15 minutes left on it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long we've been going here.
I hope
What
yours
time
is
is
still
it?
going.
Oh well,
But
it's still going. Yeah, that camera's got like a 3-hour battery in it.
Dang.
that's awesome.
With a 128 gig SD card, so I got like 3 hours of 4K.
This man right
Nice.
here, I'm sure can tell you how abysmal Sony's battery life is.
Oh yeah.
Full frame is a little bit better, but woo, that gets like maybe an hour of video and then it's
Yeah.
done.
Oh yeah.
That's why we bring the power pack and stuff with us when we're going out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like
because
6 or 7 batteries.
Oh yeah, and they're so expensive too.
Yeah.
So,
the worst batteries are the drone.
Oh yeah.
Those
yeah,
are-
that's can't charge them. You can't charge them on the go.
You guys
gotta
ever
be
use the
plugged in.
drone? You guys have one?
That's our next to get.
Yeah.
I would love to do one, but it's I keep like I'm like, all right, I want to buy this, and then I'm like, yeah,
Other
get a
things get
drone
more
one day.
priority.
Right? But yeah, I would love to do a drone. Like I love your guys' drone footage and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
once you get a drone, yeah,
Dude.
you're gonna love
Yeah.
it. You're gonna really love it so much.
Especially like when you go like to a place that's got lots of buildings or something. You have a map or something you may have researched beforehand, but having that drone just boop, pop it up. And, okay, here we are. You
Yeah,
know,
it was-
you can use it as navigation too, not
Right.
even just filming.
Yeah, we had to do that when we went to Northville because there's so many buildings out there, and then it's all overgrown, so you don't know exactly where you are. But we just popped the drone up, and then
Yep.
we're able to find out where we are pretty easily.
That's how we navigated the whole
Yeah.
place.
Now the drone's acting up, so.
Yeah.
But imagine if you guys were in New York and you were in downtown New York and you popped that drone up in the middle of the city and got some like little cinematic stuff
That'd be
or
very
something for
cool.
like, hey, we did this New York series. We've been in here for the weekend. We got 3 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really, yeah,
That was
it's cool to have that extra reach.
So you guys got anything else coming out? When was that your book? When did that come out? Was that recent or no?
So they first came out, I think the first ones came out the very end of 2018,
Okay.
and then a couple came out early 2019, and then the very last two were both like February of this year.
February this year. Okay.
So I think the series is done for now, at least on that. I think I kind of want to
Where can you
return to
find
it.
those books?
So they're available like on Amazon, bookstores. People can message us on Facebook or Instagram. We sell them direct too.
Right.
Obviously this year we've only been to one event, but and once we return to normal, like we're usually out there a couple times here and there.
And then you got the Prime thing.
Yep. So then
hopefully by Halloween or
hopefully by Halloween. Yeah.
That perks my interest there.
Yeah,
I get really into the paranormal and all that stuff too. I'm a big Joe Rogan listener too, so I be listening to that stuff all the time. Aliens and stuff.
That's kind
like
of a
that.
big inspiration for this whole thing.
Yeah, it really was, honestly. So, so you got the Prime, you got the books that are out, you got trying. This year's spotty, but try it once a month to get something out, right?
Yeah, the videos was usually still trying to keep those every other week. We got so much stuff just on the backlog that I just have to edit. So
yeah, that's I hate to keep bringing up the big time players, but proper people, they said that too in like a Q&A. They got like 30 some episodes backlogged. So, and that's what we did too when we first started this. Was like, I want a few episodes.
Right, just have them. That's how I did when we first launched.
Right.
And since I've been like, oh, those are shit, and I took them down. But like we launched, I had like 5 or 10 that I just kept putting out like one a week. Remember, like, hey, this is who we are. Try to keep something so people could go in there and see.
Right. All right. Well, it was nice having you guys on. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody go check out Ruin Road on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check them out Prime on Halloween. So cool.
Thank you guys for having us on too.